Hey, what's good, YouTube? This is Keanu from Verdugo Fitness, and today I'm going to be talking about the three biggest myths that I believed in for a really long time, and over time just figured out that they're not true. So here we go. Number one is believing that white starchy carbs are not as healthy as brown or more complex carbohydrates. The difference is really simple. Simple carbs digest usually a little faster than complex carbs, but that's really it. And it really just boils down to the type of sugars that are in each one. So simple carbs such as white rice, white bread, white potatoes, they're usually formed out of monosaccharides, which is just a type of sugar that's really simple to digest. Mono meaning one, it's just one sugar. Whereas like a sweet potato or like whole wheat bread or something like that, they're usually composed of polysaccharides, which are still sugar, but poly meaning multiple sugars. So it does take your body a little longer to digest that type of carb. So in theory, what that means is that if you take a cup of brown rice and a cup of white rice, the cup of brown rice is gonna last a little longer. It should be a little more satiating than a cup of white rice, which is why if you see yourself eating simpler carbs, you're probably gonna be hungrier. You're gonna feel hungry sooner than if you eat the other type of carb, the complex carb. So with all that being said, that's all that means. That doesn't mean that one is necessarily healthier than the other. It just means that you need to practice more impulse control, right? So if you want to enjoy simple carbs, and again, simple carbs, there's nothing wrong with them. One of my favorite carbs to eat is white rice. I eat it all the time, and I just know I eat a cup and that's it. I have the amount of grams of carbs that I have per day. I set them and I eat whatever kind of carb I want as long as they hit my macros. And I'm a big fan of if it fits your macros, by the way. So that's really all that matters to me. But I think a lot of people, including myself, like I said, just kind of believe in that kind of idea that simple carbs are not healthy for you. They're just as healthy. All it means is that if you're trying to adhere to a diet, it may be, hold on, computer's off here. It may be a little bit more difficult. That's it. That's all that means. And it really, if you're really good at controlling your urges to eat more and, kind of just deal with hunger, because if you're on a cut, right, you're going to deal with being hungry. It really shouldn't matter. So that's number one. Number two is believing that cardio is the best way to lose weight. Cardio is a great tool. And when you're on a cut or even on a bulk, cardio is to be something like somebody who's in carpentry or whatever. It's in your toolbox. That's it. It doesn't mean it's the best way. It doesn't mean it's the only way. And personally, I've seen where cardio has actually backfired on me. So I'll give you an example. I remember one year I wanted to meet weight for a powerlifting meet. I was 200 pounds or like 202, 203. And I wanted to get in the 181 weight class. A lot of my buddies were in the 181 weight class. And I wanted to, compete. I wanted to compete against my friends. This was in college. We were all in like the same powerlifting club in school. And all of us were around that weight. So we're like, all right, let's all get in the 181 weight class and we'll be good. I did Stairmaster every day, like 30 minutes every day without fail. But what I realized was as the month kept going, like the first week, I think I lost like 10 pounds, like automatic. And then week 2 and week 3, the weight started staving off. And the reason for that is that your heart, your cardiovascular system gets more efficient with the same amount of time of cardio. So if you're on a level 5 for 30 minutes every day, that level 5 is gonna feel like a level 3 or 2 after like a couple weeks. So with that being said, then you're not expending as much calories because it's not as difficult as it was when you initially started, right? So the big thing with cardio is that you can do as much cardio as you want, but is it effective? Because the more efficient your cardiovascular system gets, the less amount of expenditure, the less amount of calories you're burning for that same type of activity. So cardio isn't necessarily the best way to lose fat. If you're very cardio focused, that's why a lot of people tend to plateau really quick. Cardio is just a tool to be used as necessary, and you just gotta increase the difficulty usually for most cardiovascular activities, or change it. You could go, slow intensity, or not slow intensity, but low intensity, or high intensity, or somewhere in between, distance, and something like that. But it all really goes back to diet, right? You can't outwork a bad diet. Everybody knows that. Everybody has heard of that. And it's true. I mean, you can't, unfortunately, we live in a world where you can eat a whole day's worth of calories in a couple Snickers bars, right? Which, thousands of years ago, when our bodies were evolving to survive, that just wasn't the case. Food wasn't so readily available, right? So cardio is not a good main point to be obsessed about when you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to get cut. If you're prepping for either a contest, or if you're trying to, like I did at one point, trying to meet weight for a powerlifting meet or whatever the case is. I did meet weight, by the way, for that meet. I remember I had to get in my underwear though. Some girl was weighing me, and I was just in my underwear, and I made it by like a quarter of a pound. But cardio intensive weight loss, or focusing on losing weight by focusing on cardio, is not a fun way to lose weight. Again, you want to focus on your caloric intake, introducing ideas such as carb cycling, or just something that you're in a net deficit overall as time continues, in order to get that fat off yourself and be in better shape. So that's number 2. Number 3, the last one, is this, like, what's better to build muscle, low reps, heavyweight, or high reps, medium to lightweight, and heavyweight is just for strength, and lightweights are for getting cut and getting ripped. That's all a bunch of bullshit, man. You can make muscle on either one. It really doesn't make a difference. To gain muscle, you just have to put it under some type of stress. And there could be multiple stresses. It could be you're increasing the time under tension, you're increasing the weight, you're increasing the number of sets, you're increasing the number of reps, you're decreasing your rest. There's a myriad of different methods that you can use to build more muscle onto your body. Now, with that being said, there is a great significance in strength. Obviously, if you're looking to gain strength, you're probably not going to do it with lighter weights, I should say. You're not going to do it with lighter weights. You can make strength off of lighter weights, but that's usually if, like, you're a newbie, or maybe you've fallen off for a while and you're just trying to get back on. It'll work for a bit, but eventually you're going to have to make the weight heavier. So that's really the only difference with lightweights versus heavyweights. There's a big difference in strength, which is very different than building muscle. It's all central nervous system based. How fast, how quick can you produce a surge of power in your system to lift whatever the load is, the 315 deadlift, 405 deadlift, 315 bench, whatever, 405 squat. It's all nervous system based. But that can support you. The strength can support you in the more hypertrophy based stuff. But lightweight versus heavyweights, muscle building can produce the same outcomes. Strength is where the difference is. But that's the video for today. The 3 big myths that I believed for a long time, until I realized that it was a bunch of garbage. But that's it for today, guys. If you appreciate this video, I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, share, subscribe. All my links are in the description: TikTok, Instagram, and verdugofitness.com, where you could get merch, shirts, hoodies, leggings, sweaters, I appreciate you.